What's up, YouTube? This is my first video on YouTube, actually. Well, actually, it's not. I made a video way back in the day, but, um, listen, I wanted to make a video here telling, those who care that, how I overcame, um, or how I stopped taking Adderall. I'll tell you really quick how I got introduced to it. I was 19, 20 maybe, and basically I was hanging out with my friend and his younger brother. We were talking about all like conspiracy theories and that stuff, and we were getting into that. And his younger brother came up to me and was like, "You should take this little thing." And I'm like, "What is it?" And he explained it to me. Like, "What's it gonna do?" And I had that same kind of gut feeling, like, you shouldn't take this. Um, but something kind of just drove me to take it. I was like, oh, I want to take it. I took it, felt amazing. And I remember the next day I went and I was like, oh, I'm going to get some more of this. And I think I had to ask him, and I kind of begged him. I was like, hey man, I'm driving home. I'm going to be on a long trip. Do you mind if I get another one of those? And I already had it in my mind. I'm going to go figure out how to get more of this stuff. But basically what I want to tell anybody who's trying to get off this or really understand what's going on, a lot more is going on than you realize with that. Basically, my anger was driving my response to taking it. Becoming, when I took it, I would feel better. It was basically a false kind of I just heard something. Sorry. It was basically a false sense of like disguising the fact that I had anger. And that was around 2021, 2019, 20 that I took it, and it wasn't until 28, and throughout that period of time I tried to quit it, you know. And I'm just telling this because I know a lot of people are going, like, really, I don't want to make this video, honestly, share my personal information, but I know a lot of people are going through, a lot of people my age, I'm 31 now, are going through this, or even younger kids are going through this. And when I was 28, somebody told me I needed to go to my mom and forgive her for any resentment I had towards her. And I remember I took like two 30 milligram extended release Adderall pills. So I was like on 60 milligrams of Adderall, and I went over to my parents' house, and just to get up the courage to do this, because for some reason all this fear came up when it actually came time, when I knew what I had to do in my heart. I had to go. I realized I had become angry because my mom had traumatized me as a young kid. That was the anger that I had in me, and it wasn't even her fault. She did it. She couldn't help doing it. She was trying to get kind of destroy me. It wasn't her doing it. It was Satan. It was this whole cycle that happens in so many homes, being raised in a Christian home. But here I am, just totally a drug addict, abusing other substances, can't change myself, having tried to quit. I'd be like, okay, I'm not going to take it, and then go right back to it. All kinds of crazy stuff. I can get into it more. But basically, I'm sorry for resenting you, and I knew in my heart what I was saying. I'm sorry I was holding these things against you, things that you shouldn't have done to me or whatever. And I said, hey, I'm sorry for resenting you. And after that, I think maybe a couple days later, I went to my dad. I told him, hey, I'm sorry for judging you. I had no right to judge you. Why did you have weakness? Why did you have anger? Why were there times that you didn't defend me from my mom, or show me weakness? I can give examples of what that looked like for me personally. I probably will later in videos. But basically, that's what I told him. I was weak just like you. I know it wasn't his fault. After that day, I never took Adderall again. I have no desire to take it. It was the craziest thing, that kind of like feeling, and I guess it could be different for different people, but what, drug or whatever, but the Adderall, really, it was for me, it really epitomized and got to the sense that it was like I like wanted to get out of the pain I was in. And then the way that I got out was through that Adderall, you know. But when it stopped working and finally my life started getting so bad, wasn't able to hold down a job, my reputation was getting destroyed. I was having issues with the law, all this stuff. I finally was like, man, I went down this wrong road. And I really had to take a look at myself and all the Christianity I had. Even though at some point some of it was true and, I was trying to stand up, I was trying to be strong, I had to be like, okay, I've got something personally wrong with me. I really have to take a look at myself. And I remember at that time I tried to go back to church and go back to, kind of small groups, stuff they do at church. Because that was really the only way I knew how to, like, where am I, besides going to, like, an AA meeting, and I didn't really like that, going to those places, because it just kind of had a low energy, So I went back to church, because that's what I knew, but nobody told me I had to go and apologize for resenting, and then God will take the anger out of me. But at 28, I did do that. And instantly I stopped taking Adderall. So if you think you're addicted to Adderall, or you're that person, or you're a Christian who's kind of like living, you have anger, you're like, you're judging yourself, you feel condemnation, you're like, I'm here to tell you, as somebody who's gone through that is absolutely not you. You are not those thoughts or emotions that are happening to you at all. Those are not, hold on, my computer went off. Those are not you at all. They are attached to the not you. There's a part of you that is the real you, that can overcome all these thoughts and stuff, and it doesn't feel the same way. It's strong. It's really the part of you that is strengthened by God. But that kid out there who wants to overcome it, I'm telling you, that's what I did, and I've had peace. I've had peace since then. Even when I believe thoughts, or like kind of get identified with a thought, like I can't identify with them for long, because I know that truth inside me. I'm not, what I'm doing. I'm not what I'm doing. And then slowly other vices or habits have fallen away too. Over drinking, smoking, cigarettes. I'm able to deal with more. I started my own business. I'm able to deal with more in that. Working out more, regularly, not overdoing it. Not like being like, I'm going to set a crazy goal and then fall off that goal, but just being steady with that. Eating better. A lot has changed in my life since then, but it all came out of overcoming the anger. So that's just my message. I just want to get that out there, that, I'm just a normal person, just like everybody else who, took the advice of somebody who loved me enough to tell me, you need to go face your fears. You have to go to your mother and apologize for resentment. Up until that point, I was just beating around the bush, hiding, hating myself for all the bad habits I had, but not willing to really open myself up to the truth. And I remember, and as soon as I did, that person popped up into my life who said, you have to go and forgive. You'll never be able to enter the kingdom of heaven and have that perfect peace, and stop judging yourself until you ask God, to stop judging you, or until you go to somebody and admit that you had no right to judge them. Then that nature is just taken away from you. And that's all we want, in life. So I remember I was with my brother-in-law, and we were on the roof. He was on a roof, and he was showing me how to install filter on gutters. And I had just driven by on my way to that house this sign outside a church that said, God the Mother and God the Father. And even in my fallen state, I was kind of like, you know what? Like, this is so dumb. God's a father. He's not a mother. He's got a fatherly spirit to him, a spirit that wants to correct and really will push you out of the nest and tell you the truth. It's not going to, kind of try to use you or any of that kind of mess. Um, and he just, and I was like, and then I was like, what would it be like to have God as your father? I literally was just blabbling about this, and he literally looked up to me, and this guy, you know, he's just a normal guy. I mean, he's not like claims to be a Christian or anything. He was just a normal guy, but it was something happened. He just looked up at me. He was like, "You need to go look up this guy named Jesse Lee Peterson on YouTube." And I was like, "Okay." And later on, when I got home, sure enough, I looked it up, and and that guy told me, "You need to go and do this." And instantly, I knew it was something I needed to do. But it was after the point where I was like, I don't want to live this way anymore. You know, I'm tired of getting, you know, I've done so much damage to my life. I'm tired of living this way. Something's wrong, you know, in my life, and I need it. You know, and it was better than I could even expect. It wasn't like I just had to go back to, you know, living with trying to be better, or just, you know, how so many people are like, oh yeah, you can live your life, but you're never going to be perfect, you know, or you're never going to be able to overcome the problems. You're never going to be overcome the thoughts, you know. So many, it's because they never have, you know, and we should stop. Pete, I wish somebody would have told me the truth, and somebody did, and so that's why I'm here to make this video, put it out on YouTube, you know, for people. Maybe it'll help some people, or whatever, you know. But it is true. The forgiveness is the way, and you are not your thoughts. You know, a lot of what I thought I believed about God, you know, I've had to rethink, you know, and it just became much more simple, you know, and my life has been so much better. I'm 31 now. I have a great business. I have my own place, you know. I rent. I've gotten married since then. I have a son on the way. Oh, my computer slowed down again. And my life is better. You know, I have peace. I don't have, like, I know my life is just going to work out the way it's supposed to work out. I don't really have as much, like, you know, how am I going to, you know, make things happen? It's just gotten more simple. But it was just that one little key. Go to your mother. So I really suggest that to you if you want to overcome it. I've said this like 20 times, I feel like, already. Go to your mom, you know, if you can. On the phone works too, and just say, you can't just do it because, you know, I couldn't just do it because somebody told me. I was ready to do it. And somebody just said, hey, look, if you do this, God will take the anger from you, and he'll return you back to your natural self. You know, kind of like as you were when a kid. And, you know, and I remember getting crazy thoughts like, you should go kill yourself. I remember when I got that thought, and I knew, I was like, I don't want to kill myself. So why would I? And I started to realize something is going on in my mind realm that is. But go to your mom, you know, and say, I'm sorry for resenting you, you know, for whatever she did. If she was overbearing, if she didn't give you attention, whatever it was, if she tried to turn you against your dad, talking bad about your dad, you had to defend your dad to your mom. Whatever it was, drove you around late, you'll know. Go, don't be afraid. Go do it, and you'll not regret it. Stuff will start to happen in your life that you couldn't make happen before. You know, the things that you want to change in your life, God will help you change those things instead of you trying to change them, which you can't change them. God will slowly life, but you got to be honest with yourself. You got to be like, you got to really want to come back to God and be like, you know, I don't want to live with, you know, without peace. You know, I don't want to live being afraid, because when you have anger, you have a lot of fear too. You know, that's the other thing. I've had less and less fears. Fear is really just not even there. You know, you just go forward and love the truth and speak the truth and be honest. Speak your story, no matter what other people think. You know, even if you're wrong, it's okay to be wrong. You know, but yeah, I just want to get that out there for all those who, if you feel like you're addicted to Adderall and you just, you know, hate yourself for it, there is a way out. All right, y'all. Leave some comments, like, subscribe. I'll keep talking about this stuff because it's one of the biggest things in my life. And it's not just evolve around the Adderall. Just right after that, right after I went and forgave, I never even took it again. I used to get it any way I could. Even if I'd go a while without it, I'd go find it somehow because I thought, I can't go without it, and it give me that kind of momentary relief from the feelings, and I could think clearly it was just what I thought was clearly, but it was just insanity. All right, y'all. Bye.